I'm going to do a demo today. And what I'm going to do it of is Lemoyne Star. And I don't know if I know you have, seen Lemoyne Stars everywhere. They are one of the most common block out there, next to flying geese. Okay, Lemoyne Stars. It is also happens to be Deb Tucker's favorite tool. So she, of course, has numerous patterns with Lemoyne Stars. So I am pulling out a mat, and I want to see if things will show up. We're going to move the camera, which means it might blur a little or it might stop. But here's the Lemoyne Star. Are you getting any glare? Looks good? Okay. So this is called Rapid Fire Lemoyne Star because you can do them faster and more accurate. If you are unaware of what a Lemoyne Star looks like, I will show you one. All right. This is one that uses the same fabrics for all the points. Okay. Here's another one done with batiks. And we even have thread. Yay. So there's another one done with batiks. Okay. Now, lots of Lemoyne Stars have two color. So you can, this is a basic Lemoyne Star. Okay. So you can do it however you want to do it. I'm going to show you a a two color, just because it's easier for you to see how the strips lay down. Now this is going to be a little bit quick, but everything is in the sheet that comes with it. Okay, I showed you one before that looks like that. Yours isn't going to say Irene Opinion, but you know, it can if you want. And all the directions are here. Very good directions, by the way. Deb Tucker's very good. I have all kinds of little comments next to mine, so just ignore that. And this comes with a pattern for a Lemoyne Star sampler. Okay, it's called Constellation because of all the stars. And it allows you to try all the different sizes because, like nearly everything Deb Tucker does, there are multiple sizes that you can make with her tools. It's not a one size, that's it. It's multiple sizes. Gives you all the strip information and so forth. I'm not going to go in great detail about that because it would take a lot of time. I ran through this last night at home, and it took me 30 minutes. So I'm going to streamline it big time. Skip a couple steps and just tell you I did them. You're going to need strips. You need wide strips and you need skinny strips. So the wide strip is going to be the background. And the skinny strips are, oh my gosh, I can't even get them apart. The skinny strips are going to be your star points. So these are going to be my 2 star points. And these are my background. And you don't have to make the backgrounds the same, but that's the way you usually see it. All right. You will notice, probably upside down, that I have A and B. Okay? That's because I need to know which strip is going to be A and which strip is going to be B. If you don't care which way your points go, I'll give you a little hint. If you have a blue one, make it B. B for blue. It'll just save yourself a lot of hassle. And then whatever else I have is going to be A. What you have to do with these strips is you have to sew them together, but they must be staggered. Okay, they're going to end up looking like this. And all this is written in your directions that come with the tool. You stagger them by measuring. I have 2 layers, I'm sorry. Measuring down. There we go. Measuring down the width of your large strip. Take your other strip, and I'm using B for blue, okay? And I'm going to put it right, I'm going to watch my salvages, and I'm going to put it right where that meets the strip. Now, you can also just measure it and put a mark, but since I'm always in a hurry, I don't put a mark. And then I'm going to sew these strips together. So notice the B one is sewn that way. The A one is sewn this way. Same thing. I'm going to, oh, sorry, they keep flipping. I'm going to roll it down like this. Then I'm going to line this one up right where that meets. And then I'm going to sew it full length. Okay? 1/4 inch, your best 1/4 inch seam. Now let me show you what they look like when they're done. Here we go. So here's my B, and here's my A. And you will see that they are staggered. All right. The reason that we're going to do this is we are going to make an angular cut to get our strips. So we also have to press them correctly. The B's are pressed toward the small strip. The A's are pressed toward the big strip, or everything goes left, however you want to look at it. Then I'm going to layer them. And again, I'm going really fast. I'm going to layer them, put the B on the bottom, B on the bottom. And then I'm going to take the A, and notice they're staggered together. Okay, there's my A. And because I did them in opposite order, meaning one pushed up, one pushed down, I can nest them. And you can feel it right through here. If you were here, I'd have you come up and feel how flat it is. Okay? Now, we need to make a cut. Now, you can use your Lemoyne Star tool. And you can line up, there's a 1/4 inch seam or 1/4 inch dotted line right here. I can line it up with my sewing line and then take a straight edge and butt it up to it. And what that's giving me is a 45-degree angle. I can pull this away and I can cut. Now, another tool that is invaluable is Creative Grids 6.5 by 12.5. I have like 7 of these because they keep getting put in with projects and I can't find them again. They have very prominent 45-degree line. They also have 60s and stuff like that, but 45 is what we are most concerned with. If you have this ruler, you can line up your black 45-degree line along the bottom of the strip. Move it over so you can get as much out of your fabric as possible. Now, just to show you how well that works, this is what I would have done anyway. Okay? And it's perfect. Then I make my cut. 2 things you need: a good cut, oh my gosh, rotary cutter with a brand new blade. Now, if you had used the same color and you need to know, or you couldn't remember which one you put, it's right here. Now, I made B blue, so I can just chuck them. They're scraps. They're going to my mom to make pillows. All right. Now what I'm doing is I'm doing it as wide as this strip is. You may ask how I knew how wide to make my strip. From the chart in your directions, we'll tell you what size strips you need depending on what size block you're going to end up with. I want an 8-inch block, so I made mine 2.5. It says 2 3/8 or 2.5. If it ever gives you an option, go for the easier one, which is 2.5. Then 3 3/4. So 3 3/4, 2.5. Now what I'm going to do is make my cuts at 2.5. So I can do this. Now that's only one cut. I need to do a second cut. That doesn't make a diamond. Okay? So what I'm going to do, I can do 2 things. I can either line this up with lines on a mat, or this also has a 45-degree up here. So I'm just going to line that white 45-degree line right along there at the end of my seam. And then try not to cut my ruler. Now I've got my second cut. What this is going to give you, I'm going to move this out of the way. You would continue cutting your points all the way down through. What this is going to give you is this. Okay? This is A, this is B. So now what you're going to do is you're going to sew these on, each of your A's and each of your B's. You're probably going to have a stack of them because you need at least 4 sets to make a star. Okay? So you're going to sew those on, and you're going to end up with things like this. I'll give you one of those and one of these. Not too many of them. Okay? Now they're beautiful, but they need trimming. So this is where my Lemoyne Star comes in handy. You want Invisigrip on the back, okay, so it doesn't slide. What we're going to do, I said I was doing a size 8, an 8-inch square. So I'm going to use my 8 lines, okay. Solid lines are even numbers, dotted lines are odd numbers. I know I'm doing an 8-inch square, so I want the 8. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take those 2 lines. I don't know how well we're going to get this on the camera. And I'm going to line them up right in the pocket here. So I have one line going up one side, one line going up the other. Okay? So I've got my 8 lined up. See how much extra I have? Isn't it beautiful? We have a little bit more than usual because we went to 2.5 instead of 2 3/8. But you know what? I'd rather do this than do it wrong. Then you're going to, and again, this is where a new blade is mandatory so that you're not wasting a lot of time. And then we'll cut down the other side. This works really well with a rotary mat, but I didn't want to pull my rotary mat out and take the time. And now my point is perfect because I've trimmed it down to where I need it. If you skip this step, your star's not going to look pretty, let me tell you. All right, so we have trimmed ones. And again, I'm going really fast. Always available for questions at a later time. All right, so when I set this up, it's important that you remember you need a square up here. We're making a big square, so you need a square here. Don't do this. That's not what we want to do. We want to do this. And now we're going to do it, put it together. Now, those of you who have followed any of my classes, you know I am not a pinner. I hate pinning, okay? But you have to here. These two nest perfectly because they're going in 2 different directions. So they nest right together. Right together. Then I put in a pin here, and I do all my pins vertically. Horizontally? I don't know, whatever. I do them so they stick out. And you always sew with your points first, okay? Because we don't want this to move. The other thing is when you have a sandwich seam, or excuse me, a nested seam, you should put it so the flap is up because your feed dogs will pull through and tighten that seam right together, okay? Sometimes you can't. Depends on the thing that you're doing, okay? And then, as I'm sewing, you need a leader so this doesn't get bogged down. And then as you get to, and you need your little stiletto of some kind. I live for my purple thing, okay? Because we're going to keep all of this down and straight. As I get to my pin, I pull it out. Some people don't. I do because I'm paranoid. And then as I get here, I pull it out. And I'm going to keep this stiletto going to make sure this doesn't travel one way or the other. Then I'm going to, ta-da, Ta-da, it's all sewn. Then I'm going to press open. Now, one of the reasons I press open, and I'm hoping this worked because I didn't check it ahead of time, is when I go to open this up, and you can use your strip stick for this. When I open this up to get ready to press it, this should be perfect. This should be a cute little point right there. Because, don't move, Tara. What that's going to do is mean your point right there is perfect. So I can tell right away if it's going to work. Because if this is wonky, time for the seam ripper. Something slipped. Okay? So you end up with 4/4. See how nice they are? Aren't they pretty? Alright, you end up with 4/4. Now you're saying, well, that doesn't look like a star. And you're right, it doesn't. Because we have to put things together. So we are going to put 2 quadrants together. Now, depending on how well you know me, you may know I hate dog ears. They drive me crazy. But these are very useful dog ears because they're going to help you line this up. The other thing you're going to do is make sure that this sandwiches also. And if you got a little extra, you might have had a little wonky seam or something, you're going to ease it in. So everybody stays where they belong. And I do my pins. So if I were sewing this, it would look like that. I do my pins. I do this one so it's not my way. I got to make sure they stay put. I feed it into the machine to my 1/4" seam. And now I know these guys are lined up. Okay? Down here, pull that needle, pull this needle, and then I end up with a half. But then I have to put my halves together. Now, look at all those pins, and I'm a non-pinner, but let me tell you, I'm a pinner when it comes to this. I line these guys up the way I always did. They nest. This, you can use the dog ears if the dog ears are your friends. However, I do stick and stab. So you can see where it meets right there. So I stick that one. Then I go over here where it meets and I stab that one. I would actually do this first before I did this. Then once I get that pin, notice it's standing, can you see it? It's standing straight up. Then I do the pin on each side. And I sew very carefully, 1/4 inch. And again, keep your purple thing or stiletto handy to help get through all this. When you're going to pull this one out. When you get to here, you want to make sure you hit that spot where they meet, right there. And then you keep going. I did a messy pinning job there. And then what you end up with, after it's been trimmed all the way around, is a perfect Lemoyne Star. Look at that! Isn't that pretty? And these guys look pretty because the tool helps you do all that. And the good pinning, a perfect 1/4 inch seam, or as perfect as we can get, and so forth. All right, that's the basic Lemoyne. Just to show you what you can do with these. There are other kinds of Lemoynes. Deb Tucker has technique sheets that she will use. She has one that's called banded Lemoyne, where you create these bandings before you put everything together. We have blazing Lemoyne. It's a diamond that looks like that. Okay? And then you put it, isn't that pretty? I want to make my granddaughter a quilt that looks like this. Like, because she doesn't have any quilts, you know. I've only made her 5, and she's just over a year old. This is a fussy cut Lemoyne, where I fussy cut with my Lemoyne tool up on this end. You see all these lines? That's what this is for, is to fussy cut so you can get what you want out of them. Okay? This is a strip pieced Lemoyne. So you're doing them in strips to create your diamonds. Then we have a Liberty Lemoyne. And I did it in red, white, and blue because it was called Liberty. That's how I remember. And again, it's similar to strip piece, but there's more strips. Okay? Then you don't have to put it together in a star. You can do, I'm going to turn that upside down for you, Lemoyne's as triangles, where you make the pieces, put them together differently, and then put a whole piece on the bottom. And one last thing to show you, you don't even have to do this. And you might need to go out a little bit for this one. This is made with, these are the Lemoyne quarters over here. So instead of putting them all together in the middle, I put them on the outside. These are flying geese going opposite ways and a square in the middle. And that's how you make that block. So you don't even have to put them together. There's another pattern for Deb, and I couldn't bring the quilt because it's queen size. And what it does is it takes these Lemoyne points and it zigzags them down through it's called Irene's favorite block. No, I don't believe so. It's on, it sometimes is on different patterns, so I kind of stole it. So it's also in the Tucker University collection too. So, all right, just to show you, we got lots of colors. Okay, you can do it any size you want. Here's a nice big one. And these are all going in that constellation pattern that I showed you. That was an extremely fast lesson in Lemoyne Stars. These, of course, are extra because they are text sheets. So they would be in addition to the regular Lemoyne. You need to know how to do a Lemoyne to do these, and then the sky's the limit. You can do whatever you want. You can design. That's my next step, is design. Design my own quilt. So, all right.
Will you leave those on display?
Sure. I don't know where, but we'll find some place to put them. Okay. So, I hope that was helpful. We're trying to show you some different things.
The tripod just got caught on my boots.
Oh, the tripod had a little issue with Tara. So, I mean, if you ever have any questions, you can always contact us, and hopefully we will be able to answer them, which is helpful. Yes. So, in case I hadn't mentioned, I am a certified Deb Tucker instructor. That's, Studio 180. That's why I have all this stuff. So, I also can help with any other tools that you may have or want to work with. So, just coincidentally, our item of the week is going to be the Lemoyne Star tool. It is normally $40.50, and we are selling it for $30.37. I hope that's the number that she gave me. So, this is fantastic. I love Lemoyne Stars.
And this is the pre-order.
This is a pre-order item of the week. You have until Sunday night at midnight to either pay for it on the website, or you can always call us. Don't call us Sunday night at midnight. Call during store hours if you have a card on file, or you can give us a card, or you can come see us. We would love to see you. So, $30.37. Okay? And you can do all this amazing stuff. Okay? All right. Any questions? Let Brenda know. Well, put them in the comments, and hopefully we can answer them.